Hello, I'm Lady Juniper, and today I want to answer a very important question. Is Klee worth wishing for? She's a very old unit. I believe she came out second out of all the units after Venti, if my memory serves me right. She is a Pyro DPS, one of the very first, and lots of people hate on her for not being as good as other units. Now, for me, Klee was the third character I wished for. I won her 50-50 and I got her. So I've had her for a whole year. What are my thoughts about Klee? Well, I guess you could say I really enjoy her. Yes, Klee is actually one of my most favourite characters in Genshin. Would you believe it? I have so much joy playing her as a character. I did joke in the past that I wouldn't wish for Hu Tao because I already own Klee. And you know what, guys? I absolutely mean it, 100%. I love Klee, I enjoy playing Klee, and I would have her 100% over Hu Tao any day. I do not care how much damage Hu Tao does. I love playing Klee that much. You might wonder, why, Juniper, are you so passionate about playing Klee? Klee has a lot of problems, and I'm just going to go over those briefly, what Klee's problems are, and why I enjoy playing her regardless of those problems. So, problem number one, people often criticize Klee's range. I think I've heard people say numerous times that Klee is practically a melee character because her range is so short. It's so tiny. Gosh, her range sucks so much is what the people say. Well, I think I put this to rest when I did my average Nahida video, but let's just revisit it for those of you who didn't watch that video. We'll just go over here. It's a beautiful flat testing ground. Here we have Nahida. Now, I don't see many people criticizing Nahida's range at all when they talk about her. I mean, she has fantastic range with her skill, obviously, but Nahida is often used in Nilo Bloom teams and a lot of Dendro teams as the main driver for reactions. She is quite often the character on the field, and I don't see anybody talking about the range of her attack. Now, let me just show you something if we can get it to light. Come on. Would you look at that? Can you see it? I mean, it's the grass here is a bit thick, but the range is identical. Klee and Nahida have the same catalyst range. And the fact that people criticize Klee's range when it's the same as Nahida's, I think personally it's a little bit unfair. It's exactly the same. They have the same range. If you don't have a problem with playing Nahida, there's no reason to have a problem with playing Klee. Just saying. Now, big criticism, of course, is her charge attack, which focuses on an area in front of her. I'm not sure how that is that much different from Nahida's. She also affects a short distance, probably actually an identical range. The only difference is Klee's is right in front of her, where Nahida's is like what, like a dash away from her. Yeah, the Klee slander is real. If you want to know Klee's range, just play Nahida. That's her range. But so I had to address this because I watched a few videos of content creators addressing Klee and her clunkiness issues, and it's the range. They always complain about the range, and Klee's range, I think I did a comparison, is no different from Barbara's and Nahida's. Honestly, people, I think people don't realize how long her range is. Like, obviously, it's not like Yanfei and Ningguang, obviously, but I think only those two have a range that long. I did some testing the other day to compare the catalyst users, and those two had the longest catalyst range out of the ones I tested, with Klee and Nahida having pretty much the same range. So if that is a concern for you, that Klee's range is small, it really shouldn't be. Another core complaint is her attacks are quite slow. They are quite slow compared to Nahida's quite speedy ones. But at the end of the day, Nahida is not actually meant to be a DPS unit. She can be an on-field driver, but that is actually not her role. Klee's role is to be a DPS, thus her attacks are, I think, a little bit slow to compensate that. Is it slower than a sword? I guess. But there are some very slow sword users as well. Yeah, I guess this is slow. Her charge attack is also, animation is also quite slow. People like to do this whole charge attack cancel thing, which I actually haven't. I don't actually play Klee like that personally myself. That's just not how I play Klee. But I get why people might prefer to play her like that. It's something I probably should practice more. But anyway, I'm getting distracted like always. Reasons why I like Klee. I don't know. Another thing I see people complaining about Klee is because her range is so short, kind of. As short as Nahida's. That you have to get really close to combatants. And I was thinking about this. At what time, when you're playing Genshin Impact, are you not close to other units to combat them? Like, at what point are you going to be using your attack, using Kazua's E, and not being right next to the unit? I'm very confused about this complaint about Klee as well. Core, her range isn't very big. I don't know why that matters. You're using sword and spear units and claymore units that have to be close to the combat anyway to benefit from their attack. So we have like a quick swap gameplay, and you're concerned that Klee is really close to the units. I feel like some people are just complaining there for the sake of complaining, to be perfectly honest with you. Yes, I'm a true tin-hatted Klee apologist at this point, I think. But it's just silly things to complain about. Her attack speed is, yes, warranted. It is a bit slow. But her range is fine. It's the same as Nahida's. She has a charge attack cancelling mechanic, which no one has a problem doing with Hu Tao. If you're fine doing it with Hu Tao, why are you complaining about doing it with Klee? My personal main criticism of Klee as a character is that she doesn't synergize as well with other units as she could, honestly. Xingqiu, great hydro unit, doesn't synergize perfectly with Klee. The thing is, Klee's main damage comes from her charge attack, which Xingqiu's swords don't activate on a charge attack. So obviously you have to do a normal attack, which, to be fair, you're going to do on Klee anyway, because of this. If you do normal attacks, it makes your charge attack not cost any stamina and do increased damage. This doesn't have a cooldown duration, so cool. Also, big benefit of Klee. Klee is a fantastic battery for the team. She gives your team 2 elemental energy if she gets a crit on her charge attack, which if you're really good and you have great ratios, you can get all the time. My Klee, she needs more attack, but otherwise she's pretty alright, honestly. I think her attack's so low because I have a HP goblet with really good stats, and I haven't yet found a decent replacement. Look at these. I only have these 2 leveled pieces to compensate. I haven't found a good attack piece to give her or level. So that's kind of mid. And this is a pretty solid piece, honestly. But yeah, that's why my attack stat is terrible. Do keep that in mind if I showcase her later on in this episode. But yeah, her main downside is she doesn't really synergize well with other units. Like she can go with Xingqiu, she can go with Yilan. Yilan, I believe, is better because Yilan gives an attack boost, which Klee benefits from. But because both of the ults only activate on normal attacks, what you do have to do, you just have to be paying attention to whether or not Hydro is on the enemy unit, to whether or not you will benefit from a Vaporize on her charge attack, which, you know, can be awkward. Normal attacking heroes just works generally better with Yilan and Xingqiu, but you can still play her with them. Kaya works reasonably well with her, especially if you have his constellations. Then if you had Ganyu, her ult would work really well. I've seen people play her with Rosaria. I don't have Rosaria leveled, so I can see how that would work. I think Diona's ult is doable with her. But then you're kind of playing Circle Impact. Other units that synergize well. I would argue if you played Vaporize Nilu, she probably works really well with Klee because of her water field around her. You then also have Layla that sort of also works because she's constantly applying cryo to people to melt off of. I'm wondering how well Kokomi works with her. I'm not sure if Kokomi does enough Hydro application, to be honest with you. If you know whether or not Kokomi does enough Hydro application for Klee, let me know down below, because I am contemplating wishing for her so I could have a Hydro unit that would work well with Klee. But I don't know. Let me know. Does Kokomi work well with Klee? Let me know below. I think Mona is often ran alongside Klee for like snapshots because Klee can do really good damage if you have everything lined up correctly. If you like if you then Bennett into Kazuha into Mona and then Klee charge attack, shockingly she can snapshot for enormous damage. But that's quite a setup, I think, honestly. I'll have to try that sometime. I haven't leveled my Mona yet. But yeah, it's a bit hit. There's more cryo units that work really well with her than hydro units. Now we do have Fontaine coming out, so it's quite likely that we will see more units that might synergize well with Klee, with like putting hydro on the field in a way that doesn't require normal attacks. Even like Klee still wants to do normal attacks, that's fine, but like if she could like do more rapid charge attacks, that would benefit her more, because then she can vaporize more often, because I think her charge attack doesn't have a cooldown on how often it can vaporize. But yeah, I personally very much enjoy Klee and her playstyle. People call her clunky because her animations like are long, but they're fine, honestly. I don't think it's that bad. And if you pair her with Kazuha, her bombs will pretty much always hit the enemy. Like Kazuha and Klee are best friends on the field of reactions. I've not played her in version, honestly. For no particular reason, I prefer to run her in mono pyro as a support. I've like been contemplating building her a lava walker set so that you can get the increased damage against pyro units on the team. I just haven't. This is like a side project for me personally to level up a lava walker for her, so she can be like support Klee. Klee also has some really good constellations. I think this one's meant to be mid, but her C2 is a huge defense reduction, a bit like Raiden C2. This one means that you can just activate her ult and it does like a really big burst of damage, which is fine as far as I'm concerned because I very rarely run her ult on the field. I'd much prefer to just activate it and switch her out for the big burst of damage personally. And then this is just a big energy feed, and Klee already feeds her team a lot of energy from her talents. Like she is quite a handy unit. If Sparks and Splash would stay on the field as she left, she would be a better unit because it would mean she could do off-field pyro application. She would be like a flexible support character, but because Sparks and Splash doesn't goes off when she leaves the field, it's alright. It's alright. I'm not sure the damage of this is that great, honestly. Compared to other units kits. It's okay. Like most of her damage is in her charge attack anyway. And the Jumpy Dumpies do a reasonably decent damage as well. Especially if you have Kazuha who can group them all, or Venti who can group them all. Part of me really wants to try her with like a Sunfire Jean build with her, Bennett, and Kazuha and Jean. I'm working on my Jean. She's getting there. Slowly. One day I'll have a Sunfire Jean. Yeah, I don't know, there's something about Klee. Like, just so much joy to play her, honestly. I think she's just a lot of fun. And I get why people don't like her, but, like, I don't think she's any more difficult to play than Hu Tao. Admittedly, her damage is not as good as Hu Tao. And she is, like, there are units like Yoimiya who obviously do more damage for a lot less effort as well. And we're going to have a new Pyro unit coming out with Fontaine, who probably will also be better than Klee. So is Klee worth getting now with all these other units out that does what she does? Well, does Pyro better than she does. Like my Diluc does more damage than my Klee with less effort. Is she worth pulling for? That is down to the individual. Like as a character, I think she's fun. I think she's a joy to play. She's one of my favourite characters to play, honestly. As I've said multiple times now. I don't think she deserves a lot of the slander she gets for playstyle. Like, the only thing that is annoying is you can't, like, animation cancel the Jumpy Dumpy thing. But is that, like, a game breaker for you? I don't really think that penalises you damage output as much as that. And, like, the animation cancel thing with her charge attack isn't really that hard to do. And she does contribute a lot of energy to your team. Clicking on the wrong one. It's just... like, she can support the team. You don't have to run her as a DPS quite often. I'll just use Jumpy Dumpy and never use her ult when using her in a team because, like, you don't need it. It doesn't really add that much. It's, like, okay to, like, blast everybody with Pyro for, like, are you really on the field for 10 seconds? It never feels that long. Like, she does play a different role to Hu Tao, because I don't think Hu Tao has any supportive capabilities, where Klee has a supportive capability. Her Jumpty Dumpties, I feel, is quite supportive, like the damage it does, and a lot of her constellations are quite supportive. Like, Klee is one of these characters that I would like her C6 of, because as she is a DPS, but at C6, she is a fully capable support with some DPS capabilities. It's a shame that like, some of them aren't into her main kit, honestly, because I think she would be a better unit with them. But she's fine, and like Fontaine might give her some really good, powerful buffs with the new Hydro units coming out. We will see. It's really difficult because like old characters will slowly become irrelevant, won't they? And many people feel like Klee is irrelevant as a unit, but I think she's fine. I think she's a lot of fun, and like, don't be put off if you want her because of a lot of the criticism that people get. Like, a lot of it's just trash. Like I've said already, like it's just nonsense. The range criticism is nonsense. The valid criticism is that she struggles to hit flying units. She can do it. Her bombs will do it. Her charge attack can't hit flying units, but she will target up if there is like they're called the Flappy Drake things. She will do it. But then again, she's no unit different from like any sword user not being able to hit a flying target. If you have flying targets in the Abyss, you should probably bring an archer. Just saying. Alright. Let's go. We got very lucky. It's not Pyro today. So I believe if you do this properly. Can't do the charge attacks. Wee bosh! We're out of... Okay. Bonk, bonk. Oh, I can't do the rotations. $25k! It's a lot of effort. She can do decent damage. Look at it. 38k. And I'm not even on an attack goblet. Pretty good, I think. Pretty decent, I think. You can do a lot more than that. I know that for a fact. I've seen other people's footage of her. Mine's on a HP goblet. I need to change that. But yeah, this is my why I enjoy Klee. I hope that made sense to you, me ranting for goodness how long this is. It just annoys me that people mischaracterize how she is played. It's unfair. Look at it. Yes, this is the range of a sword. A claymore can go this far. Honest, it just makes me cross. Alright, I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below. Do subscribe to, keep track of my future videos. If there's another unit coming out that you want to see tested in a sort of honest capacity. Let's be honest. Klee is not the best hero to get Only wish for her if you like her, if you enjoy playing with her, because she is not as powerful as Hu Tao and Yoimiya. I'm just gonna be frank with her. D-Luke can do more consistent damage than her. Um, but gosh, he brings me joy to play. And look, he gets this cute little outfit now. Look how adorable it is. I love it. I love it. Of course I had to get it. Of course. Um, getting sidetracked again, like always. Alright, guys. I'm gonna... I'm gonna see you in the next video. Goodbye!